Hi team, this is Chris Abraham from MTEL Test Prep and ChrisTheMathTutor.com. I want to look at the runner problem again, but I want to change it up a little bit and show another way to find the lowest common multiple. Now, we had Sam. Sam did that track. He was a pretty fast runner. He can do it in 30 seconds. That's pretty good. Brendan, remember good old Brendan? He took 50 seconds. Remember, he likes to take his time. We're going to add a third runner. This third runner is John. John is supersonic fast. I mean, he is fast. He does it in 20 seconds. So now let's use the same strategy that we did before, which was writing out to find the lowest common multiples. When we had only two runners, we wrote out the multiples. Let's see, that's 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. That works pretty easy for just one runner, and for another runner, it's pretty easy. 100, 150, boom. The lowest common multiple for just two runners is pretty fast with this strategy. What happens if I add in this third person though? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, oh no, 160, 180, 200. I don't see any common multiples so far. Uh-oh. Well, I would have to continue out on my multiples till I got to 300. Which isn't that good for a strategy, because first of all, 30, 50, and 20 are pretty nice numbers to find multiples of. What if you get numbers like 12, 15, and 18? This strategy for three different runners, or three different cars, or three different piles of books would take a really long time. So there's another way we can approach finding the lowest common multiple. And that's what we're going to do now. We still have our three runners here, Sam at 30, Brendan at 50, and John at 20. But in this, to find the lowest common multiple with three numbers, I use something called the Venn diagram approach. The Venn diagram approach uses prime factorization to find the lowest common multiple. For example, what are the prime factors in 30? 3 times 10. 3 is prime, so I keep it. 10 can be broken up into 2 and 5. 20. 20 is made up of a 2 and a 10. We keep the 2. The 10 can be broken up into 2 times 5. And 50. 50 can be thought of as 5 times 10, and another way of thinking of 10 is 5 times 2. Now, after I break down each number into its prime numbers, I ask myself, how would I organize in my Venn diagram? What do they all share in common? Well, they all share, it looks like, a 2 and a 5. A 2 and a 5, a 2 and a 5. So I would put in the middle here, 2 times 5. And this middle number, by the way, if that's all they share, a 2 and a 5, that tells us the greatest common factor. 2 times 5 is 10. And 10, isn't 10 the greatest common factor of 30, 50, and 20? But we're not doing greatest common factor, we're doing lowest common multiple. So let me continue. Don't worry about what I just said. They both share a 2 and a 5. The 3, all it has left, the 30, all it has left is a 3. The 5, all it has left is a 5. And the 20, all it has left is a 2. So if we look at our Venn diagram, we've organized it so that the prime numbers that make up 30 are 3 times 2 times 5, 50, 2 times 5 times 5, and 20, 2 times 2 times 5. The way we find the lowest common multiple is all we need to do is multiply the prime factors that are left inside your Venn diagram. So that would be something like this. 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 5. And then when we do that out, you get 300. Now this works with any three numbers that you do. 4 numbers for that matter, but let's stick with 3. You write the 3 numbers breaking them up into the prime numbers. You put them in the Venn diagram. You multiply across, you find that the lowest common multiple is what's left over. In this case, it's 300. If it was just this middle part right here, that tells us the greatest common factor that they share. You see this a lot on MTEL problems, specifically with the general curriculum, the 53 and the 47. You might see something like this, a little trickier, but also on the 09. You could also use this for SATs and GREs. It's very helpful, the Venn diagram strategy with 3 different variables. I hope you like this. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, you can contact me at chris@themathtutor.com or mteltestprep.com. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.